Hi everyone, welcome to the Beer Garden. Yes, you see us today because we are going to cover the weekend meeting as well in our show. We hope you like it. So first of all, I have a question for my Beer Garden teammates. So maybe let me ask Sarah first. Sarah, how are you? I would like to know when and why you were involved in horse racing.
Okay, so I got into horse racing because my boyfriend, Randy, who is with me on the Triple Clowns, he got me interested when we first started dating. Before that, I knew nothing about the sport. I knew of the Kentucky Derby. I thought it was one race that they raced on one day. Didn't know much. And then he introduced me. He took me to the track. Our first track was Belmont, and which was amazing. And so I followed it a little, not a whole lot. I really didn't even know how to fully read a program. Because when you first look at a program, it's all these numbers and names and abbreviations. It's a lot. And then right before COVID hit, we decided to start our podcast, The Triple Clowns. And we brought on our friend AJ. And so the premise behind it was Randy grew up with the sport. I knew a little bit at the time. AJ absolutely knew nothing. And so we really developed our show, and it really kind of, I would say the sport really sucked me in. And now he's tried to get me to watch several other sports, football and whatnot, and I have no interest. But horse racing really, it's amazing. And I think going to the racetrack, there's something euphoric about being at the racetrack, from all the sights and sounds to seeing these majestic equine athletes perform at their best. And so I just kind of fell in deep. And now, we've done a lot with our podcast, from entertaining shows and whatnot, and met a ton of people. And I always joke that I think now Randy might regret getting me into the sport, because I like to watch TVG, and he's like, why don't we watch a movie instead? And I'm, really? Do you really want to watch a movie? But it's fun. I mean, it's this horse racing, there's a lot of depth to it. And I just think it's a really awesome sport. I think it's great for the people. I think it's great for people at all levels. And it really just kind of sucked me in. And so I kind of, like, all falls on Randy for introducing me to the sport. And I'm glad it was, we decided to do our show, which then I just learned a lot more. So that was, and now I'm here doing Hong Kong with you guys, which is just, to me, I'm still taken aback by it. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, Sarah. So we have been together to previewing the horses for several weeks, and I think that maybe it's now you are getting more and more involved to Hong Kong racing. Do you think that Hong Kong racing is more fun?
It's so interesting to me. I mean, Hong Kong racing, one thing that's great, and I'll say, like, this is where the United States lacks, and I think fails, is we don't have free past performances available to us in the States. We have to subscribe to something or buy a program. Where overseas, like Hong Kong, there's so much information, PPs are free. And, now that I'm watching these horses, and of course, now I'm getting really excited for next weekend, because we're seeing all these, and I am lucky enough to have seen, like, Love's Only You, who I saw in November at the Breeders' Cup in person. So excited to see that horse run in Hong Kong. It's funny because last summer, I forgot who we interviewed on our show, but they were talking about Happy Valley, and I had done some research, and for the longest time, I've been like, that is my bucket list track.
Yeah, definitely.
One place to go in the world for a racetrack, I want to see Happy Valley.
Yeah, definitely. So I hope to see you soon in Hong Kong soon, Sarah. So how about you, Steve? Can you share with us your when and why did you involve in horse racing?
Well, it's very much my dad's influence. He loved horse racing. And I remember when I was way back young, he'd have horses' names scribbled on the tops of newspapers that he wanted to put money on, and things like the Grand National, for instance, way back to the days of rag trade and horses like that. And I think my first memory was about 5 years old when I think I picked Red Drum to win the Grand National, but I was crying because Crisp He was a fantastic horse at the time, was just narrowly defeated in the final strides. He was carrying top weight. He was absolutely exhausted. And I think I was crying my eyes out. And I was kind of hooked after that, just watching Dad follow the racing, and we, compare bets and things like that. And then the older I got, suddenly realised there's a whole world of racing out there, not just British racing. There's Irish, there's French, there's Hong Kong. And yes, but I think when I was younger, I always preferred the flat racing in Britain, but I liked the Irish racing over jumps. So when I was following maybe the Grand National, I used to love picking an Irish horse for the Grand National, like Ebony Jane and Son of War. Fantastic horses way back in the 80s and 90s. And yes, so I've just carried on enjoying it. And then during lockdown, when there was no British racing, I kind of rekindled my love for Hong Kong racing, because I remember years ago picking Lucky Nine, one of my favourite horses, and Peniophobia as well, which is the fear of poverty, which is always something that you might worry about if you're gambling. But yes, Peniophobia, who was, I think, third in the Alcor Sprint when it went over to Dubai. I love that horse. Once Richard Fahey trained. So yes, I've just always loved the horse racing. And these days also looking at the French racing too. And as Sara says, when you go to the racetrack, it's just fantastic sometimes. I always make the mistake of sometimes looking at the big screen, watching your horse come with a run, and then almost forgetting that they're galloping past you. And oh my goodness. And you don't get that chance again because they've thundered past you. But yeah, just a fantastic sport. I wish more people liked it. Millions do, but I wish more people did, because it's addictive and it's fantastic and great fun.
Yeah, that's cool. So, Steve, you just mentioned about jump racing and flat racing. How about harness racing? Do you also enjoy harness racing?
No, I must admit, harness racing isn't something, it's popular, but it's not something, I think there's enough to look at. If there was maybe 36 hours in a day, I might start looking at harness racing, but there isn't enough time during the day for all the other horse racing that goes on. Maybe one day, but not just now.
Oh, okay, yeah, not enough time currently. So, Joe, how are you? When and why were you involved in horse racing? What's your story?
Well, my uncle used to take me to the track when I was little. So it was just like, going and then, spending time with my uncle. But I didn't, it was always in the back of my mind. And one day me and my friends went to Golden Gate Fields, and then we had a great time. And then I was just, I didn't know anything about form or anything like that. So I was just like watching it or whatever. Then I started getting really into it when I won like $300. And I was like, oh, could make money. This is great. I'm going to start to study more. And once you start studying more and try to get into everything, once you're locked into something, then you're going to probably like look up everything about it. So I had to learn how to do the form, how to read pedigrees and all that stuff. And then one of the first major races that I saw, not in person, but one that I actually watched was 2012 Florida Derby, Orb winning the Florida Derby. And then he ended up winning the Kentucky Derby. So that was one of the main things. And then into international racing, when I was working a 9-to-5 job every day, there was nothing on when I got home. All the American racing was done unless it was a night meet. So that's how I got into Australian racing, because that was the only thing that was on when I wanted to watch racing at home after a long day of work. So that was pretty much it. Then I started, I was like, well, if I'm going to study Australia, then I'm going to have to do New Zealand and then all the other ones. So that's how I ended up doing all the other countries all at once. But for when I started watching Hong Kong racing, it was back in 2016, and one of my favorite horses was Pakistan Star. So that's when I really got involved into Hong Kong racing and watching the international, the Hong Kong international races and the jockeys challenges over there. And then from then on, it's what I'm doing now, and I'm here with you guys. And that's one of the great things about horse racing, is it brings a lot of people together with the same interest and, sort of a niche kind of sport, but it brings everybody together. You get like a lot of camaraderie, get to compare what you like as opposed to what other people like. And that's what's great about the sport. That's what I enjoy, is try to get some tips
Yeah, yeah, that's always true. That I also think that horse racing is a common language or between all the among all the people from around the world. Maybe they are speaking their kind of English, but horse racing can connect us together, just like our show. So now I just know more about my teammates. So maybe this time we will be previewing the Sha Tin meeting. We will not be talking about the triple trio, but we will be previewing the best two all-weather races in this meeting. The first one will be race 7. It is a class 2 race over 6 furlong on the all-weather track. Sarah, what is your selection here?
I like sight success here. The 4 coming out of barrier 2, he gets a big drop in weight, which I think is really going to help him out. I know his last race out, he did just kind of run a little bit out of gas there in the stretch, did get a 5th place finish. But when you rewatch that race, he had great form and he had a great turner foot, especially coming into that stretch. So I think maybe it's a horse, he could have just had a bad day. So really I'm looking back to the few other races. Now these are all at Happy Valley, in which he's been proven there. He's had great success in early November and late October, but he's also had some decent trial runs at Sha Tin as well, which is what I really like to see with this horse. So I know that he knows this track, knows how to run this track. So I am excited to kind of see how he really takes into a class 2 field on the Sha Tin track. So I really like him as sight success. It was a tough field, I think.
Yeah, number 4, sight success. I think this horse is quite consistent gate speed. Whenever in the dirt races, that the front runner will have more advantage. So, Steve, are you going to select another front runner in this race?
Well, I'm going to pick Kaying Star, who should be on the premises, but not really a front runner. He's drawn in 5, Derek Lung on board. He's won from 2 on dirt, and he was impressive over course and distance on his penultimate start in the Stevenson's Cup. And he made a nice, encouraging reappearance behind sight success at Happy Valley. Hopefully, he can come on for that run. I think it looks very open, this race, as Sarah says. It's hard to discount many. Sight success has been busy. He's already had 5 runs this season, back-to-back wins, and he wasn't disgraced last time when going for the hat-trick. I'm just hoping that my horse, Kaying Master, can come on for that run. And hopefully he can. But there's also Silver Fig, that lovely grey, that won really well last time when he accounted for 2 of today's rivals in Man Star and Zazen. I think Man Star was an improver last season, but I think he's possibly in the handicapper's grip now. And Zazen, well, he ran a nice race last time. He was 4th to the Dead Heaters, Trillion Win and Fantastic Way. That was on turf. But he looks interesting back on dirt with Morera. But for me, yes, hopefully, Kaying Master can win.
Yeah, number 6, Kaying Master. One more good news to this horse, because I just saw him just gain 24 pounds, and now his size is bigger, and he is really strong, very muscular. So he is having a very good chance, I think. And Joe, how about you? Do you like grey horse?
Yeah, I like Silver Fig, the number 3, just because it looks like there's going to be a lot of pace in this race, and I think that when he could come from the back and do the same thing as what he's always done. So with Matthew Poon and taking the 1 kilo off, I think he'll be okay. I mean, does get a little bit of weight, but with Poon up, it'll help with a little bit. But his last couple of his form has been pretty good, especially on the all-weather track. So I think that he could go back to back Sha Tin tomorrow.
Yeah, number 3, Silver Fig is a horse really strong turn of foot, so quite looking forward to him as well. And for my pick, I will go for another great horse, that is number 9, Chen Cheng Prince. Last time we saw that this, I would say he is an all-weather expert, but he moved to Happy Valley last time out. I still believe his ability. However, he did not have a breakthrough in a Class 2 race, as he finished 5th behind Sunny Star and Telecom Fighters, who are quite in form recently. And this horse was just beaten by a length. I think it is acceptable, especially because it was a turf race. And then this time on Sunday, he will go back to his favorite surface, maybe here comes another concern, that is the distance. But I'm still confident that he will be still competitive over 6 furlong because he won this trip before. So I will give him one more chance to prove himself a competitive in Class 2. I will go for number 9, Chang Prince. So to sum up race 7, Class 2 over 5 furlong on the all-weather track, Sarah likes number 4, Size Success. Steve will go for number 6, Kaiying Master. Joe likes number 3, Silver Facts. I will go for number 9, Chang Prince. So the other race we are going to discuss will be race 9. It is a Class 3 race over a mile and of course on the dirt surface. Sarah, which horse is your selection?
I like Ultra Express, the one here. This horse is probably the horse to beat in this field. I tried looking at if there's any other horses I would feel strong against to possibly play against him. But he's much the best. He's proven at Sha Tin. He's proven at any barrier as well, which is really impressive because he is going to be leaving out of barrier 3. I mean, he seems unbelievable. And you rewatch the replays, he's really talented. He knows when to switch into that gear. He knows when coming down the stretch what to do. It was just tough for me not to pick him.
Yeah, I think so. Number 1, Ultra Express. This horse is really consistent this season. He's more mature and stronger. So I think he's also having a very good chance on Sunday. How about you, Steve? Which horse do you like?
I went for the bottom one, number 14, Super Wind Dragon, drawn 10. He's a nice horse. I thought I'd look for a bit of value. I think, as Sarah says, Ultra Express looks the obvious one. He's won 3 from his last 4. But Super Wind Dragon, he's yet to win in 9 local runs. But he has a real aptitude for the dirt surface. He ran 2 nice races over the 1,200 metres. And he wasn't far behind Lucky Express last time on his step up to 1650. He meets the winner £7 better off. And I think he could be the main threat to the selection. And I'm just hoping that he might be able to turn around the form. And just, as I said, a bit of value compared to Lucky Express, Ultra Express, who will be quite short, I would imagine, under Moreira.
Yeah, I think so. Currently we cannot see the price right now, but I think that number 1 Ultra Express will be the favorite because of his recent good form. Number 14 Super Wind Dragon is also quite a good horse. I think that a mile also is suitable for him. How about you, Joe? Which horse do you like?
Yeah, I was really leaning towards taking the shorts on Ultra Express, but I was looking more into the race, and then I was thinking, well, maybe, Party Every Day is one of the horses, the number 10 horse that João Moreira actually rode before, but he decided to ride an Ultra Express, so that gives, I think, Matthew Chadwick the chance. And when I've looked at Party Every Day's recent form, he looks pretty decent. I'm just a little concerned that he did not get Moreira, but I think Chadwick has run him in trials before, and I think he'll do well in this race. I was trying to find somewhere else to find value, and amongst our 3 picks and then yours later, Charene, I think we could probably get the first 4 or so, or the superfecta. I think it's called the quartet. What's the bet called over there for the 4?
First 4.
Yeah, the first 4. So I think all of our selections, if we were to put Ultra Express on top or somewhere in that mix, I think we could get a really good payout for the first 4 there.
Yeah, actually, I think so. And I will go for number 2, Elite Patch. This horse is also it's also trained by Francis Lui. I think that Francis Lui's horses are quite strong on this Sunday. And actually, for Elite Patch, from April to October, his forms were really bad. But seems that he is getting better in his recent 2 runs, both over the same course and distance. And right now, at this moment, it is good to have Jerry Chow on board because I think that this horse may need a weight allowance. So that's why he could show a great turn of foot last time out under Jerry. This time, gauge 4, I think that Elite Patch will have a better position than last time out. And then I think that he is also having quite a good chance. So to sum up race 9, the class 3 over a mile over the dirt, Sarah likes number 1, Ultra Express. Steve will go for number 14, Super Wind Dragon. Joe's selection is number 10, Party Every Day. And I will go for number 2, Elite Patch. So now we will talk about our best bet. Sarah, what is your best bet?
I like the 2 Cordyceps 6 and race 8 here. we get Chow aboard him, staying on him again. And he's just, I feel like when you really watch the replays here, Chow is just, there's certain jockeys when you see him ride the horse, it's like they really know. You can really tell what this horse wants and how to maneuver. And I think Chow's unbelievably proven on this horse. His last time out was his first try out of Class 3 and did exceptionally well. Really, really was an impressive race to rewatch. He's been fairly consistent at Sha Tin. I just think this 3-year-old has really matured into a strong racehorse. I'm sure, I feel like maybe the odds might not be, you're probably going to get, not the favorite, but you're going to get some lower odds on him. So it might not be the best price, but just a horse that when I was going through this whole card, this horse really stuck out to me. That this is going to be a great horse to watch in this race.
Yes, I agree. Because this time the gate is very good for him, very ideal for him. And Steve, how about you? Will you have your best bet in race 8 as well?
Well, I did, yes. I thought I'd just take a chance here with Super Fortune. He's a really impressive winner on debut, and I think he looks a really nice sort physically. I'm not too sure about the quality of the horses he beat on debut, but it was a nice run, and the handicapper seems to think so because he's put him up 11 pounds. This looks a much deeper race, but he ran very nicely in a recent trial on dirt, and this is one of the best horses that Matthew Poon's ridden for a while. This will be a real nice piece of publicity here if you can run up a sequence with Super Fortune. I think the main threat looks to be Cordyceps 6. Of course, he beat Nervous Witness, and he's now going for the hat-trick. But he's conceding £12 to Super Fortune. My selection's a year older. Probably not as drawn quite as nicely because the Cordyceps 6 drawn in gate 14, mine is in 6, but I don't think it really matters. I mean, it's point and shoot, isn't it? And yes, hopefully Super Fortune can continue the good work under Matthew Poon.
Yeah, I think that in race 6, both Cordyceps 6 and Super Fortune will be the two dominating in the market. Both of them are young and up and coming. I'm quite looking forward to them. And Joe, how about you? What is your best bet?
I'm in the last race. My best bet is horse number 1, the Irishman. Now, I saw his form previously. He's just turned 4, so he made his way over to Hong Kong. He raced in a Group 2 race and a Group 3 race in Australia and Sydney. And Sydney is really, really tough when it comes to really competitive group races. And you don't really see those really short fields. So he had to take on a lot of big fields and ran second to Hungry Heart, which I'm sure you guys know is a really, really good proven 3-year-old, but the form right now on Hungry Heart isn't that great. I think she's still trying to get a Group 1 victory as a 4-year-old, but he was in that competitive field with Hungry Heart. I think the justify of 60 kilos in his first time out in Hong Kong shouldn't be a problem. He has ran at some higher weights before, but Vincent Ho is gonna. I think this race, you're not going to get shorts on him. I think he's going to be a little bit over the odds. So I would project that he could probably win this race in the last race, or otherwise it's not going to be my best bet. So yeah, number 1, the Irishman.
Yeah, the Irishman will make his debut in Hong Kong on Sunday, and he will be ridden by Vincent Ho. I just think that maybe gate 11 is a bit problem, but I think that the overseas form of this horse are really great. And then for my best bet, it will be in race 2, number 3, Fox Janger. Last time I saw that he was too late to have a clear one, and then he was just beaten by a short margin. This time moving to the all-weather track, before he already has an experience over here, and he can also handle the all-weather track. And this time, Ruan Meyer will be ridden again for this horse. So I'm going to give him one more chance. Especially, I see him. He will be jumping from gate 1 again, just like last time out. So I will give one more chance to race 2, number 3, Fox Changer. And then how about our value bet, Sarah? What is your value bet?
I'm going to go to the start of the card, race 1, the 2, Joyful Heart. I feel like you're going to get some pretty good odds on this horse. My main concern with Joyful Heart right now is the barrier draw. He is coming out of barrier 2, but what really stuck out for me is he has some of the strongest gate speed in this field. So with that being said, I think he's able to overcome the barrier draw with this one. He's raced several times at Sha Tin, especially with Purton on board. He has Purton on board this race as well, and it seems like they really trying to find this horse's distance. They've stretched him out to 2,000 meters a couple of times. They've brought him back to 1,600, and now they're bringing him back to 1,800 meters, in which I really feel like this horse it might be this horse's distance where this horse can perform strong and really keep up that strong speed throughout the distance of the race. He's just a really beautiful horse. He's just really great form in these races. I just think they're trying to find his happy spot. And I feel like the 1,800 meters could be this. And so I feel like you would get a pretty good price on him.
Yeah, race 1, number 2, Joyful Heart is Sarah's value bet. And Steve, how about you? What is your value bet?
I went to race number 6, Millennium Falcon, drawn 10, and race card number 12 on the race card. I think this is probably the toughest race on the card. I think it's on turf over 1,400 meters. But Millennium Falcon, he's like the race. He was unlucky last time when he was a close-up 5th in a blanket finish. That Purton was on board that day, and he keeps the faith. But prior to that, a fast finishing 4th in the seasonal reappearance. But there's any amount of chance, horses with chances in this race. Turquoise Alpha looked unlucky last time. He was a winner in Ireland and yet to show his true colours in Hong Kong, though when he does, I guess it'll be turquoise. And Joyful Genius as well, another nice horse that stayed on well last time. And Nimble Nimbus, the clouds have lifted off Harry Bentley lately. So he looks to have a nice chance there as well. But for me, yes, Millennium Falcon. No Harrison Ford on board, of course. It's Zach Purton.
Yeah, so race 6, number 12, Millennium Falcon is Steve's value bet. And Joe, how about you? What is your value bet?
Race number 2, the number 11, the Elites with Wagner Borgs. I think that last season was really bad. 11th out of 12th and like probably 5-6 races in a row. Then all of a sudden he had a resurgence, and then he's going to come up in class. He's going to the class 4 races with a little bit, but I think with his recent form, and I like to look at patterns on certain horses, and I think he's getting out of all those bad runs, and now just all of a sudden is just putting his best foot forward now. And I think that I saw him in the Australian market at $13. So I think you're going to get a lot of value for somebody that's becoming consistent now. So I think that that would be my value bet in race number 2, the 11, the Elites.
Yeah, race 2, number 11, the Elites is Joe's value bet. And for my value bet, it is in race 3, number 6, Ring Bells. He will have his second up on Sunday. Last time out, he made his debut over the straight course over 5 furlong. It was quite a good warm-up one for him. And I think that this lightly raced 4-year-old is improving because recently he had a really good gallop on Tuesday with stablemate Viva Mama. So I think that race 3, number 6, Ring Bells is having quite a good chance on Sunday with a good price as well. So thank you, Sarah, Steve, and Joe for your time today. Also, thank you for supporting the Beer Garden. Wish you all the best on Sunday. Bye-bye.